3 relationships, 3 different guys, same exact ending. He seemed perfect at first, charming, attentive, said all the right things. And then, like clockwork, he pulled away, became distant, emotionally unavailable, and you were left wondering what you did wrong. But here's what nobody's telling you. If this keeps happening, it's not them. It's not bad luck. It's not that all men are trash. It's a pattern, your pattern. And that pattern, it started way before you ever met him. In the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna break down the real psychological reasons you keep attracting emotionally unavailable men. And more importantly, I'm gonna show you exactly how to break this cycle once and for all. Because you're not cursed, you're not broken, you're just repeating a pattern you didn't even know you had. And once you see it, everything changes. Let's get into it. So before we dive deep, I need you to be real honest with yourself right now. How many times has this happened to you? You meet someone, the chemistry's insane. You think, finally, this is different. He's different. And for a while, it feels like it is. But then, slowly, he starts to pull back, gets distant, won't talk about feelings, won't commit. And you're left confused, hurt, wondering what happened to the guy you met. If this sounds familiar, I need you to understand something. This isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. And I don't say that to blame you, I say it to empower you. Because if you're attracting these men, that means you have the power to stop attracting them. But first, you gotta understand why it's happening. Reason number 1, you're attracted to what's familiar, not what's healthy. This is the big one, y'all, and it's gonna sting a little, but stay with me. Our brains are wired to seek out what's familiar, not what's good for us, not what makes us happy, what feels like home. And if you grow up in an environment where love was inconsistent, where you had to work hard for affection, where emotional availability wasn't modeled for you, then emotionally unavailable men feel like home. Your nervous system doesn't recognize healthy, consistent love as love. It recognizes it as boring, unfamiliar, even suspicious. Why is he being so nice? What does he want? When's the other shoe gonna drop? But that guy who's hot and cold, who makes you chase him, who gives you just enough to keep you hooked, but never enough to feel secure, that feels like love, because that's what you learned love looked like. And I know that's hard to hear, but it's the truth. You're not attracted to emotionally unavailable men because you're broken. You're attracted to them because your brain is trying to heal an old wound by recreating the same dynamic, hoping this time it'll turn out different, hoping this time, if you just try hard enough, you'll finally be enough. But that's not how healing works. Reason number 2, you have an savior complex. Okay, let's talk about this one. How many times have you looked at a guy who's clearly struggling, clearly not ready for a relationship, clearly emotionally unavailable, and thought, but I can help him. I can be the one who shows him how to love. I can fix him. Be honest. This is the savior complex, and it's super common in women who are natural givers, natural healers, natural empaths. You see someone in pain and you want to help them. You see someone who's closed off and you want to be the one to open them up. You see someone who's emotionally unavailable and you take it as a challenge. Other women couldn't get through to him, but I'm different. I'm special. I'll be patient. I'll be understanding. And eventually he'll see my value and change. But here's the problem. You can't love someone into emotional availability. You can't patience someone into healing. You can't fix a man who doesn't want to be fixed. And by trying, you're not helping him. You're enabling him. You're teaching him that he can show up half available and still have a woman giving him 100%. And in the process, you're abandoning yourself. Reason number 3, you're emotionally unavailable too. Okay, this one's gonna make some of you defensive, but hear me out. Sometimes we attract emotionally unavailable men because we are emotionally unavailable. Not in the same way, but unavailable nonetheless. Maybe you're unavailable because you're terrified of real intimacy, so you pick men who can't get close, which protects you from ever having to be truly vulnerable. Maybe you're unavailable because you're still healing from past trauma and you're not ready for a real relationship, but you don't want to admit that. So you pick men who keep things surface level. Maybe you're unavailable because deep down, you don't believe you're worthy of real love. So you pick men who confirm that belief. Here's the truth. Emotionally available men don't stick around for emotionally unavailable women. They recognize the dynamic and move on. But emotionally unavailable men, they're totally fine with it because you're not demanding anything real from them either. You're both keeping each other at arm's length, and that feels safe until it doesn't. Reason number 4, you're addicted to the chase. This is a hard one to admit, but a lot of women who keep attracting emotionally unavailable men are addicted to the chase. Not consciously, obviously, but subconsciously, they're hooked on the drama, the uncertainty, the highs and lows, the does he like me, does he not spiral, the feeling of finally getting his attention after he's been distant for days. Why? Because it releases dopamine. Your brain gets a hit every time he texts you after ignoring you, every time he shows up after pulling away, every time he gives you breadcrumbs after weeks of silence. And that dopamine hit, it's addictive. It makes you feel alive, desired, chosen. But here's the problem. That's not love. That's addiction. And once you've been hooked on that high, stable, consistent love feels boring. It doesn't give you that same rush. So you sabotage it. You get bored. You lose interest. And you go back to what feels exciting, which is always emotionally unavailable men. Reason number 5, you don't believe you deserve better. And this is the root of it all. Deep down, beneath all the other reasons, there's a belief that says this is all I deserve. This is the best I'm going to get. If I ask for more, I'll end up alone. Maybe that belief came from your childhood. Maybe it came from past relationships. Maybe it came from society telling you to be grateful for any man who shows you attention. But wherever it came from, it's there, and it's running the show. Because if you truly believed you deserved a man who's emotionally available, consistent, and ready for real love, you wouldn't tolerate anything less. You'd walk away the moment someone showed signs of emotional unavailability. But you don't. You stay. You make excuses. You convince yourself that this is normal, that all men are like this, that you're asking for too much. But you're not. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong men. So those are the 5 reasons. But now let's talk about the most important part. How do you stop attracting these men? How do you break this pattern once and for all? Step 1, do the inner work. This is non-negotiable. You cannot break this pattern without doing the inner work. And by inner work, I mean therapy, journaling, reading books on attachment theory, identifying your childhood wounds, identifying your patterns, getting real honest about why you keep choosing unavailable men. Because until you heal the wound that's attracting them, you're gonna keep repeating the cycle. You can change your hair, change your city, change your type, but if you don't change what's happening inside you, you'll just attract the same man in a different body. So get into therapy if you're not already. Find a therapist who specializes in attachment trauma and relationship patterns. Read books like Attached by Amir Levin, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, Women Who Love Too Much by Robin Norwood. Do the work to understand yourself, because you can't change what you don't understand. Step 2, get clear on what emotional availability actually looks like. A lot of women don't even know what a healthy, emotionally available relationship looks like because they've never seen one. Not in their family, not in their past relationships, not in the media they consume. So they mistake intensity for intimacy. They mistake drama for passion. They mistake someone who's obsessed with them for someone who loves them. And when an emotionally available man shows up stable and consistent and secure, they think he's boring. So you need to educate yourself. What does emotional availability look like? It looks like consistent communication. It looks like someone who talks about their feelings openly. It looks like someone who makes plans and keeps them. It looks like someone who integrates you into their life. It looks like someone who doesn't play games. It looks like someone who's doing their own inner work. And once you know what it looks like, you can start recognizing it when it shows up. And you can start recognizing what isn't emotional availability so you can walk away sooner. Step 3, set boundaries and actually enforce them. This is where most women fail. They say they want an emotionally available man, but then they accept emotionally unavailable behavior. They set boundaries but don't enforce them. They say, I deserve better, but stay when he shows them he can't give them better. So you need to get clear on your non-negotiables. What behaviors are absolute deal breakers for you? Write them down. Inconsistent communication, deal breaker. Won't define the relationship after 3 months, deal breaker. Keeps you separate from his real life, deal breaker. And then when someone crosses those boundaries, you walk. Not negotiate, not give second chances, not make excuses. Walk. Because your boundaries are only as strong as your willingness to enforce them. Step 4, take a break from dating. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but if you keep attracting the same type of man, you need to take yourself out of the dating pool for a while. Not forever, just long enough to do the inner work, long enough to heal, long enough to become the kind of woman who doesn't attract emotionally unavailable men. Because if you keep dating while you're still wounded, you're just gonna keep attracting people who match your woundedness. But if you take time to heal, you raise your vibration, you change your energy, and you start attracting different kinds of people. So take 6 months, a year, however long you need. Focus on yourself, build your life, pursue your passions, heal your wounds. And when you're ready to date again, you'll be dating from a completely different place. Step 5, notice the red flags and actually listen to them. Emotionally unavailable men show you who they are early. But we ignore the signs because we're so focused on potential. Yeah, he's inconsistent now, but once he gets to know me better, yeah, he won't talk about his feelings now, but he'll open up eventually. Yeah, he's still on dating apps, but we just started dating. No, stop. Those are red flags, and red flags don't turn into green lights. They turn into stop signs. So when you see red flags, believe them. Don't wait around hoping he'll change. Don't convince yourself you're being too picky. Don't give him the benefit of the doubt. Walk away immediately, because emotionally available men don't give you red flags. They give you green lights from day one. Step 6, surround yourself with healthy relationship models. You become who you surround yourself with. So if all your friends are in toxic, dramatic, emotionally unavailable relationships, that's gonna feel normal to you. But if you surround yourself with the women who are in healthy, secure, emotionally available relationships, that's gonna become your new normal. So be intentional about who you spend time with. Join communities of women who are doing the inner work. Follow accounts on social media that talk about healthy relationships. Read books about emotionally available love. Watch couples who model what you want. Because the more you see healthy love, the more your brain will recognize it as safe. And the more you'll be able to attract it into your own life. Step 7, be the emotionally available partner you're looking for. This is the big one. You can't attract what you're not. If you want an emotionally available man, you need to become an emotionally available woman. That means doing your inner work, healing your trauma, learning to communicate your needs, being vulnerable, showing up consistently, not playing games. Because emotionally available men are attracted to emotionally available women. And if you're still operating from a wounded place, you're going to keep attracting wounded men. So work on yourself. Become the kind of partner you want to attract, and watch how everything shifts. Now, I want to address something real quick. Some of you are watching this thinking, but I've dated emotionally available men before, and I got bored. And if that's you, that's a sign that you're emotionally unavailable, that you're addicted to the chase, that you don't actually want real intimacy. You want the fantasy of it. And that's okay, but you need to be honest about it. Because if you're not ready for a real relationship, stop blaming men for not being emotionally available. Focus on your availability first. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Emotionally unavailable men aren't doing anything to you. They're showing you exactly who they are, and you're choosing to stay. You're choosing to hope. You're choosing to wait. You're choosing to make excuses. And I get it, because walking away is hard, especially when you're trauma bonded, especially when you've invested time and energy, especially when you're scared of being alone. But staying is harder. Staying costs you your peace, your self-esteem, your time, your energy, your life. So you gotta ask yourself, is this really what you want? Is this really the best you deserve? Or are you settling because you're scared? Because you don't believe better exists? Because you'd rather have crumbs than nothing at all? I want you to understand something. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are not too much. You are not asking for too much. You're just wounded, and wounded people attract wounded people. But the beautiful thing about wounds, they can heal. And when you heal yours, you stop attracting people with the same wounds. You start attracting people who've done their work, people who are ready for real love, people who are available. And that's when everything changes. That's when you stop repeating the same painful cycles. That's when you start experiencing the kind of love you've always deserved, but never believed you could have. So do the work, not for him, not to find a man, but for you, to become the most healed, whole, emotionally available version of yourself. And when you do, the right person won't be hard to find, because you'll finally be ready to see them. If this video hit you in the feels, do me a favor, hit that like button, share this with the girlfriend who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more real, honest, empowering conversations about love, relationships, and healing. Drop a comment below and tell me, which reason resonated with you most? Are you ready to do the inner work? Let's talk about it. You're not alone in this journey, and healing is possible. I promise. I'll see you in the next video.